Hey guys, welcome back to my channel Foodish Beauty. If you're new here, my name is TJ and today's video is going to be a brand new concept on my channel, and it's going to be very similar to the purchase or pass kind of hashtag that the community has been doing. But the difference is I'm only going to be talking about one specific item at a time, and usually this item is going to be very highly anticipated. So today we're going to be discussing whether to buy or not to buy the Pat McGrath Divine Rose Volume 2 aka Mothership VIII palette. Now this palette has literally just been announced today as I'm filming this video right now. I think everyone is already flipping out over this beautiful color story. Divine Rose #1 was sold out constantly. To be honest, I don't own it myself. The color story didn't specifically speak to me. It was very nude, quite subdued in my own opinion. As you can see, I like bright colors, but when this palette came out today, my heart literally skipped a beat. These colors speak to me very loudly. But with this being a to buy or not to buy video, I just really want to put the pros and cons out there for all of us who still have some time to decide whether we want this amazing but also expensive palette in our collection. So first of all, let's get some positives out of the way. The Divine Rose 2 palette comes in limited edition rose gold, or what seems like rose gold or pink kind of acrylic high shine packaging. I can see this packaging alone appeal to the masses. This palette, like all of the full-size predecessors, will have 10 eyeshadows in total, 2 of which are completely matte and the rest is all blindingly shimmery, glittery shades. My favorite from Pat McGrath. Probably the most enticing point for me to want to shell out for this palette. The color story itself looks very much on the warm side, and one of the shades in this palette particularly really is drawing me in. VR Sextraterrestrial has 3 different chromatic finish to it. So it looks extra dimensional, extra shiny, and it will have multifaceted shine and flip to this shade. Now we have seen this type of finish from other indie brands so far, but none from huge brands such as Pat McGrath herself. Going back to the palette as a whole, almost all full-size Mothership palettes has 4 special shades at the end of the palette, and this palette doesn't look any different. The very 4 last shades on the right hand corner does look like the very famous Pat McGrath special shades. They have amazing shine to them. You can use them wet or dry, and when you use them wet they just shine like diamonds. So once again, that is a pro point for me. I have notoriously bought Pat McGrath palettes just for those 4 special shades because they are that special. There are 2 mattes in here. For someone who doesn't usually use matte shades on a daily basis, it really doesn't matter to me. But if you're someone who's really into matte shades on a daily basis, then this is definitely a con for you. Now the pricing itself is going to be $125 for the entire palette plus tax on top. With that kind of pricing, it is of course not an easy decision for most people, and that's why before I purchase a Pat McGrath palette, I always would like to go into my existing collection to see if there are any repeat shades. And so far, to my knowledge, I couldn't find any repeat shades to any of the full-size palettes. Now going off course onto some other brands, I actually immediately thought of one of the palettes that I own, and that is the Afterglow palette. In fact, I actually posted this very picture on my story on the day it was announced because the color story of the Divine Rose 2 palette literally reminded me so much of the Nars Afterglow palette. There are 12 eyeshadows within the Nars palette, but as far as color story is concerned, I think the 2 are extremely similar. Personally, I swatched all of these shades on my arm and I was able to match 7 or 8 shades up with the Divine Rose 2 palette, and that is an astonishing amount of similar shades. Now of course this is only comparing swatches to the existing pictures that Pat has distributed online. That is not dead evidence that the 2 are identical, but there is no denying the color story is fairly similar. So some of my followers have sent in suggestions that it looks quite similar to the Huda Beauty Rose Gold palette, and here's a side-by-side comparison. You can see the 2 palettes. I'm seeing the Rose Gold being slightly darker and more smokier in tone than the Pat McGrath one, and I much prefer Pat McGrath formula compared to the Huda one. Another comparison comparison that's been drawn is the Jackie Aina palette. I will again put a side-by-side pictures up for you guys. As you can see, there is definitely blues and deeper purples in the Jackie Aina palette. It's much more of a brighter, summerier tone compared to the Pat McGrath, which is much more on the rose gold side. Coming from Pat McGrath, it's definitely going to make you feel very special when you use it. There is no denying the psychological effect of luxe makeup. There is also one other thing, now I think of it, that could really stop me from buying this palette, and that is the absolute chaos that could ensue on Pat McGrath's website when this palette launches. Like when the first one launched, everyone just went insane over the palette, and every time it restocked, it just went out of stock within seconds. That kind of restocking strategy is very beneficial for the brand, but it is very anxiety inducing for the customer. I personally don't like to purchase my makeup that way, but if you get a buzz from purchasing your makeup that way, then go for it. So yeah, that pretty much wraps up this video. I hope you really find it interesting. Please let me know whether you will be purchasing this palette. Let me know your pros and cons in the comments. Let me know whether you have anything that's similar in your collection. Let me know if you can't wait to get your hands on this palette. Anything goes. So yeah, get in touch, my friends. Thank you once again for watching this video, and if you liked it, please give it a thumbs up. I would really appreciate it, and subscribe to the channel for more beauty and lifestyle videos. Thanks again for watching. Take care, my friends. I'll see you next time. Bye.